Good morning. Today I thought it would be interesting to talk about this Apple video on YouTube. It's a commercial. I don't know if they ever aired it on network television, but it's called The Whole Working From Home Thing. And this came out around, I think, summer 2020, right around the time when everyone was working from home and getting started trying to figure this whole thing out. Some workplaces had things like Slack and Basecamp, and they were set up for everybody working from home. Many did not. And I think in a weird way, this is like the idealized version of what working from home was when a workplace didn't have the infrastructure to support it out of the box. So let's hit play on this, and I'm going to stop and start the video every once in a while to comment on it. So let's go.
How's the whole working from home thing going for you?
Whoa! What? No! Guys, does anyone have my iPad?
Okay, so you have the guy working at home who's unorganized, lady doing yoga.
Your boss is FaceTiming you.
Vivian?
This is not good.
Make sure my volume's
Morning.
down.
Good morning. So Project Pandora's boxes.
So this is the very first thing I thought of. And what do we see here on the screen? It's a group FaceTime call. Now, group FaceTime video has been out for 2-3 years now. I have never used it. I've never had the ability or opportunity to use it because I don't know enough people who are all Apple device people. So you have some Androids in there, you have some people who are trying to work from Windows, and this may be how it actually works if you work in Apple headquarters in Cupertino or wherever, but I guarantee this situation has almost never, maybe it's happened 5 times, okay, maybe 50 times, considering the amount of Apple devices there are. But right here, we have the first demonstration of how Apple devices have contributed to the work from home environment, which is that almost nobody except Apple has a built-in work infrastructure for remote work. So what you're seeing is Apple, most workplaces, if they had stuff like this set up, they had an Exchange server, they had Office 365. Especially this year, people were talking about Microsoft Teams, they were talking about Zoom. Some people were even using Skype, which for all you youngsters out there, that's ancient. That's what we used to call video chat 10, 15 years ago. So here's group FaceTime. What is it? I've never seen it before. That's probably what people think when they see this video is, I did not know you could do that. I think I've used group FaceTime with 3 or 4 people, or 3 people once. 2 of us had video on and the other didn't because they were using an iPhone 6, which does not support group video chat in FaceTime because it's older. It's an older phone. But if you were to use Facebook Messenger, it would work. You also see these little clues about how cool or how hip or the personality of someone working from home has. Like, look at these cats. Look at these kitty desktops. Let's keep going.
And we need to present new designs on Monday. Oh, and it needs to be recyclable. Any questions?
Yeah, when you say recyclable.
Good.
No!
What's going on?
Project Pandora's box is back.
What?
What I like about this is
Just a box.
it kind of runs the gamut as far as the people who you might work with. This person right here, like, they're late to the meeting, they're still in bed.
Bridget.
Exactly! And I got kids all week.
And I have my mom all the time.
You say something, boo-boo?
So setting up the environment for what work from home has been like for people who have been
Inside the box.
struggling. So here we're going to get into
Monday.
how do Apple devices help foster collaboration. So you see, okay, this person's on a Mac,
Serious?
Mac, iPhone, Mac, same guy. All right, so what I like to do in these Apple videos is see if they're using particular tools to foster this work from home environment. Now, if you look at this person's doc, really not much on here besides what comes out of the standard Mac OS install. You have this thing going on. Looks like it's a Pages document. Pages, for those of you outside the Apple ecosystem, is basically Microsoft Word, but Apple-ified. And in my opinion, I actually like using it more than Microsoft Word. Where Microsoft Word feels clunky, Pages feels like, okay, I can move through documents faster and type them up faster, and it just feels like a better app to use. And boy, isn't that the basic idea that they're trying to get across. Your work is giving you crap tools, because otherwise we'd be using Zoom or Skype or Microsoft Teams or whatever. But here, since we're all Apple people, we get to use the stuff that we like.
Schedule. Okay, so I'll send over the rebrief. Does anybody have a spec sheet?
Oh, wait, I think I have it.
Everybody's got AirPods
Scan
in.
it and send it.
I don't have a scanner.
There's one on your
This is pretty genius here too. Like, how many people watched this and went, "Oh my God, I did not know you could actually scan documents from your phone." All right, so here is the Apple Mail app. And probably, if you're not using Teams or Slack, or I believe Apple may use Slack internally, but let's pretend they don't. The reason, I remember hearing some sort of, or reading some sort of thing about Steve Jobs talking about how when they were doing Next, the email app had to be really good. So if you're using mail.app on your Mac, it's basically the basis of that was the Next OS. I don't know what they call it, Next Step. That email client is what your Apple Mail app is. So that's why it's really fast. Even though like people use Gmail and they like it a lot, and mail.app has its weirdo inconsistencies here and there, I like using it way more than Gmail and way more than Outlook. In fact, you will have a hard time if you do stuff like delegated inboxes and other things that are featured in Exchange server. You might have a hard time using Mail, but it's a way simpler app than Outlook, and faster too. All right, so this is MindNode, which is a mind mapping application. Probably.
8 a.m. tomorrow.
So here we are, and let's go back to that a little bit. We're not even 2 minutes into this. Look how much they use iMessage in these collaborations. They don't have work chat. They don't have Slack. They don't have team chat apps.
Tomorrow
So what do they use? They use iMessage. I've been surprised at the amount of people I know who were so willing to just give out their phone numbers their personal phone numbers so that they could get texted or iMessage. Why would they do that? Well, because they don't like their work's tools. Otherwise, they'd be using email or Teams. Beanbag chair. Okay, we're working. Apple Pencil behind the ear.
No ideas?
Guys, simmer down.
Dave, please.
Sorry, guys.
I like that you get the idea for what each of these characters is. You kind of have this dad who's like trying to keep it together. I think he mentions that he's a single dad at some point and he's got his kids home. So that's why his place is a mess, because he's got toys everywhere. And then these people, like the late for work person, she must be the designer and she must be like the project manager. That's why her place is all neat and things put together, and she's got dumbbells and a cat. Otherwise, this cat tower here.
You go, Brian.
No, I was just trying to say.
Please, just one of you go.
Well, I had this dream last night that the box was like a transformer.
FaceTime still has the overtalk problem. Otherwise, well, that happens in real life too.
Sustainable.
And cheap.
Dad, go running.
Ew.
You should go.
More iMessage stuff.
Too expensive.
What about tissue paper?
Too fragile.
And there you just saw someone sending a voice note through an iMessage app, so that you could basically record your voice and send it. Emojis.
Any other ideas?
Did you guys hear? I think Vivian has a new assistant.
That's like the fourth one this year.
What happened to the one that cried all the time?
Is Vivian the boss?
What if we did something like this?
Meatballs?
No, hexagons.
Yeah, it's cool. Like this.
Honeycomb.
Yeah, we can totally make honey.
That person's always eating, the one who's late to the meeting.
Work.
Hey, guys, hey, slow down.
All right, so it's Wednesday. They have to do a presentation on Friday.
Great work, everybody. We are really making progress. Oh, shoot. Vivian's calling.
Oh, great.
Morning.
Hi.
Two
More
things.
group
The
FaceTime.
presentation has been moved to this Friday, and
Now, I don't know about you, but anybody who's has a boss, I don't know if they would know how to group FaceTime. I don't think they would even know how to do group phone calls. This is why Zoom took off, is because someone said, we need to gather these 5 people together. And then someone else said, okay, let's just use Zoom because so-and-so is not going to know how to do group FaceTime or group Skype or whatever. And we're just going to have them click this link. Also notice in this screenshot, what do we see? We do not see the Numbers app. Numbers is the spreadsheet program that's like Excel, but Apple developed. Really great for simple spreadsheets, but rather than go with Numbers for the purpose of work from home, we see Microsoft Excel. Probably because if they tried to put numbers in here, people would have... That was a bridge too far. Group FaceTime, it will work out. Numbers, it's asking too much for people to understand what that is.
what was the second thing?
I wish my mom had a pool.
No, the budget just got cut in half.
How many people with iPhones and Macs know that you can text from your Mac? It's probably not so big.
Of course it did, because that's what happens.
But this guy knows while he's doing laundry or something.
No, do not say his name. I would rather speak to my ex-wife than have to talk to Mike from finance. How are you, buddy?
Yo,
So nothing too Apple-ified in this.
Swords?
they're katanas.
Too specific to Apple stuff, other than like talking to the finance guys.
You are. So, listen, did Vivian speak with you yet?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Are you a little busy?
How many people still make these phone calls where they're just asking, I need the synchronous communication versus asynchronous communication? That could have been an email,
He's in charge of the company?
but they needed to demonstrate FaceTime.
Cat.
No.
There's got to be a cheaper cardboard. Nothing cheaper? Whoa!
Let's see, how far are we through this? We're almost,
Not you, Jerry. I need you to work with me.
we're a little over halfway home.
This is impossible.
Hey, using less cardboard is good, right?
Yeah, less cardboard.
I think the main thing about this is just how much, despite workplaces having their own tools, and they did have, and some had poor tools, things like this, assuming that you were doing stuff like through iMessage and FaceTime and stuff like that, how much heavy lifting, how much corporate corporate world owes Apple for making people, letting people still be productive with their personal devices.
Morning.
Ryan?
I think I figured it out. I'm gonna add the others.
Have you been to bed?
No.
Ryan?
Sorry, did I wake you?
No, I was just meditating.
I think I found a solution to the budget.
What?
How?
We make the pattern bigger.
You're a genius. I love you.
How does making it bigger mean less cardboard?
Brian, how much less?
Ryan, use your iPad.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna learn how to
1 3/4 of an eye.
do measurements.
No, use the measuring tool on your iPad.
Oh, a lot less.
Couldn't just type that out?
What the? My computer's possessed. The numbers are literally...
This, to me, the tragedy of the iPad is that people think that they're like digitizing their workflow, and they are in a way. So like they're taking notes on their iPad with an Apple Pencil, but they're still handwritten notes. The really interesting, the really cool stuff that happens as a result of digitization has to do with when you get those into like an actual data format, like a number or something like that can be read by something else.
It's
If you're
probably
just
Mike in finance.
using your if you're using your iPad as a big notepad, except now it's digital.
How do I get InDesign?
In some ways, you just kind of just bought yourself an expensive pad of paper.
Hey, Sam.
How's the whole working from home thing
But
going
baby
for ya?
steps. The only people I see doing that are
Really need InDesign.
not
because
people
you're
who
this
are
person.
that proficient. Now, noting this,
Really need InDesign.
okay, we do have some productivity tools. We have the Reminders app, which if you use an Exchange server, you can connect your Reminders app to the Exchange server. Boy, oh boy, some of these tasks. InDesign, question mark, question mark. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Remember you're a star. These aren't tasks. They're affirmations,
Awesome.
which I guess
You know, when this is all over,
you have to remind yourself. Okay, so now we're using the first non-Apple software other than Microsoft, which is Adobe InDesign, which is not on the iPad. It's on Mac and Windows.
Where did you even find these fonts?
what happened to slide 4?
New class coming over now. Whoosh.
Got it.
Can you do this sort of collaboration with Mac stuff? I'm not sure. It's not like you can do, I guess you can do screen sharing, but it's not like in the old days where you could do like, I guess they called it iChat theater. Okay, gotta get a good night of rest before the meeting. This is another thing. Why is this a reminder? It should be an event on your calendar. That's my nerd opinion.
I was reading that team means together, everyone achieves more. And that.
Should we tell her she's on mute?
Not yet.
Wait, was I on mute?
So are we still using FaceTime here? Or is this looks to be a different app now? This does not look to be FaceTime. It looks like Citrix or something, like GoToMeeting.
Is everyone wearing pants?
So that's Apple work from home. And I feel like the biggest thing to get out of that is just it's sort of Apple just come out and saying like this in many ways wouldn't have worked out as well as it did had people not had iPhones and texting and things like that. Because the vast majority of workplace tools were just Stone Age. Like that guy who was the cat and he's calling in on a Zoom. The reason he was a cat was because it was an old Dell laptop, and that's back when back then Dell thought that would be a fun thing to do for video chats, because video chats at the time were not for the business world. They were for kids and teenagers to talk to their moms and dads or something like that. And sometimes they just want to be a cat. So I think this is an interesting video just because of how much stuff, like the ideal everyone has Apple devices environment that this portrays. Group FaceTimes, texting over iMessage, trading your files back and forth. And it's interesting to me, and I wonder, like, they don't do comments, do they? But, no, comments are turned off. But how many people watched this and went, I've never done a group FaceTime like that? And it's kind of why I think I wish they would do FaceTime and iMessage on other platforms. At this point, I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe the antitrust stuff going on will encourage it. But for now, that's Apple working from home. And it's working from home because they don't have to like remote desktop or use Citrix WebView, whatever that program is, to get into your company's Outlook 2008 install and use your old rickety software. This only works if everyone's like modernized, which of course it does. Of course that would be how it is. If you were starting a company today, everyone would have an iPhone and you wouldn't have this server infrastructure that was on site. You'd all be Office 365 or Google Apps or something like that. So Anyway, those are my thoughts on the whole working from home thing.